border of the state, I think, was the waters of the Pacific Ocean. And when that was subdivided in the 1880s, the government had an opportunity to buy back the beach, so it would be excluded from the subdivision, and they chose not to at that time. They just bought back Bondi Beach, and Coogee and Manly were accessible to the public, and they considered in the 1880s that that was enough public beaches. So the beach itself, the Collaroy and Narrabeen Strip, remained privately owned right into the 20th century. In 1909, again, the government considered buying back that land, and it attempted to buy back the strip of beach along Collaroy, but made a mistake in the purchasing, and actually just bought back little parcels of land at the end of each of the streets. So essentially, when people started to build their houses along this strip of beach in the early 20th century, they had the entire beach was within their property boundaries, so they could build as close to the sea as they liked. And this is why we have all these houses and private property that are literally just sitting on the edge of the beach. So in the mid-1940s, there are a series of quite severe storms which really hit these houses that have been built close to the edge of the beach along Collaroy.
Authors Ruth Park and Darcy Nyland were living on the Collaroy beachfront in 1945. Park describes a phenomenally cold and stormy autumn evening. An appalling crash shook the house and the power died. But before darkness covered us, Darcy saw one of the most fearsome sights of his life. A light shining through the window into the depths of a huge green wave. Next moment the room was dark. The window blew in, and in poured a cascade of seawater. The waves broke on the roof, 2, 3, 4, then with a hideous sucking sound withdrew. Pittwater Road was rushing like a shallow river. Seaweed, beach chairs, clothing, swimming dogs spun past. We reached a derelict shop high on the west side of the road, kicked the door in and sheltered for the rest of the night. Professor Andrew Short of Sydney University School of Geosciences is interested in the processes and morphology of coastal systems in variable wave and tide environments. According to the Sydney Morning Herald of March 7, 2016, he said that building homes and units so close to the water was an accident waiting to happen. Collaroy Beach is the most at-risk part of the New South Wales coast. It has been at risk for more than 100 years, and essentially nothing has been done for those 100 years, he said. This was the biggest storm in, you might say, about 40 years, and it has eroded back in a very predictable way to what we call the immediate hazard line. It's predicted those houses will be impacted by a storm of this magnitude. It would happen again if the government did not take action. Past councils have allowed people to not only build there but to massively overdevelop with high-rises and so on, Professor Short said. Seawalls have been haphazardly constructed along the Narrabeen and Collaroy coastline during the past decades, but they were not properly engineered, and most would fail when hit by major tides. Pittwater residents had previously warned their council of potentially huge liabilities on the Narrabeen Collaroy beachfront should Pittwater merge with South Warringah. The strongly resisted forced amalgamation of Pittwater into a Northern Beaches mega council may prove the fear well founded.